I'm Steve Duncontan, and I'm going to talk to you about the all-new RA Rodeo, the very best vehicle to ever proudly wear the Rodeo badge. It's bigger, bolder and better than ever before, with 44 variants offering best-in-class features like the most powerful V6 engine, the longest wheelbase, the widest front and rear track, and best-in-class occupant accommodation and cabin functionality. Across the entire range, handling has been improved with the addition of rack and pinion steering, standard on all models. Add in electronic shift on the fly as standard on all 4x4 Rodeos, and much improved crash protection through newly designed chassis that feature crumple zones, as well as LX and LT crew cab models now being equipped with class-leading 3-point lap sash seat belts in all positions. It all adds up to one monster of a truck. But to be the best takes real nuts. So that's what we're going to talk about on this video, the nuts and bolts of the best light commercial vehicle in the business. While the Rodeo is quite the looker, the average light commercial vehicle buyer isn't buying your vehicle just because it looks good in their driveway. They're buying it because they need it for their job. They're interested in three things. How much will it carry? How long will it last? And how much will it cost? All 4x2 models have been increased to 2,800 kilogram gross vehicle mass rating, or GVMR. 4x4 models have had their GVMR increased by a whopping 160 kilograms to a massive 2,900 kilograms. But it isn't just about how much weight you can get on it. It's also about how easily it can be carried. RA Rodeo offers a 2.4 litre, 4-cylinder engine which produces 94 kilowatts of power at 4,800 RPM and 207 newton meters of torque at a very low 3,200 RPM. It's available in the 4x2 DX single cab chassis and the 4x2 DX crew cab pickup. The 3.2 litre V6 is evolved into the 3.5 litre V6, which now produces 280 newton meters of ground-tearing torque at just 3,000 RPM. That means the maximum effort is produced at a lower engine speed using less fuel, and that saves money. It also means less wear and tear, lowering the cost of ownership, and that also means saving money. Not to mention that it also lowers the noise, the vibration and the harshness in the cabin. Hilux's recently launched 3.4 litre V6 produces a maximum of 124 kilowatts of power, so with our 3.5 litre producing 147 kilowatts of power, that makes us the most powerful engine in this class by a monster margin. And remember, the Hilux V6 is only available on 4x4 models. The 3 litre intercooled direct injected turbo diesel carries over from the previous model. However, it too receives an increase in torque, going from 265 newton meters in the manual transmission equipped models to 280 newton meters of torque at just 2,000 RPM. That's bloody massive. Maximum power continues at 96 kilowatts, produced at 3,800 RPM. Here again, we are more powerful than the Hilux diesel. Their diesel, available in the 4x2 configurations, produces 71 kilowatts of power at 4,000 RPM. That's 25 kilowatts less power at a higher engine speed. The diesel they offer in the Hilux 4x4 configurations produces a maximum of 85 kilowatts. That's 11 kilowatts less powerful than our Rodeo 3 litre intercooled direct injected diesel. Let's look at the transmissions. Rodeo V6 4x2 and 4x4 models and the LX and LT 4x4 diesel crew cab models offer an optional automatic transmission. So what? What if I told you this automatic transmission also features gradient logic control. This system recognises when the Rodeo is operating in a hilly region, so that when the Rodeo is climbing a hill, based upon speed and engine load, the transmission will hold third gear until the hill levels out, thereby preventing that third, fourth, third shifting that can sometimes occur. But wait, there's more. What about this? When going down steep hills, this transmission will change from fourth to third automatically when the driver applies the brakes, thereby providing engine braking, thus giving the driver more control over the vehicle. It's called gradient logic control, and your customers won't know about it if you don't tell them. The automatic also features third start. When pressed, this button enables the vehicle to start off in third gear, thus reducing the tendency to wheel spin in slippery conditions. All 4x4 models now feature the Shift on the Fly system. Shift on the Fly eliminates the need for locking front hubs and allows the driver to select between two-wheel drive high and four-wheel drive high while the vehicle is moving at road speeds up to 100 kilometres per hour. What this means to your customer is fuel economy when travelling in two-wheel drive, as the front axle is disconnected from the drivetrain, thereby minimising component drag. But when they want to select four-wheel drive for maximum grip, all they have to do is push a button. Shift on the Fly gives the new Rodeo all the advantages of a manual freewheeling hub with the ease of an automatic freewheeling hub. Now, due to the differences between high range and low range ratios, it's still necessary for the vehicle to be stopped when selecting between two-wheel or four-wheel high and four-wheel low. Now, if for some reason you have to tow a four-wheel drive any distance, either as a flat tow or with the front or rear wheels raised, it's necessary to remove one of the drive shafts to prevent damage to the driveline. Well, with Shift on the Fly, all you have to do is simultaneously press the two-wheel high and the four-wheel low buttons for about 10 seconds and the system will select neutral. No need to disconnect the drive shaft. While we're in the cabin, let me show you a few of the outstanding features to be found in the all-new Rodeo. 60 and 120 litre airbags designed to deploy in severe frontal collision are optional on LX models and standard on LT models, which also feature a 4-sensor, 3-channel anti-lock brake system. Instruments are deep set and backlit, giving a more car-like feel to the cabin. The front seat belts are also height adjustable to provide both comfort and safety for the driver and the front passenger. The seats are bigger and thicker than before, and they leave Hilux seats for dead. Compare our seat back height of 61 centimetres to their 55 centimetres. Rodeo seats are wider, and their shape makes for easier exit or entry. Remember, a lot of light commercial vehicle buyers are in and out of the cabin all day long, so easy exit and entry is important to them. And the seat slide, it's been increased from 160mm to 200mm, giving even more room for big blokes with boots. Our brake and clutch pedals are bigger, and the pedal box is much more substantial, so it lasts a lot longer. This windscreen is huge, and with these longer wiper blades, that gives us far greater swept area for clearer vision. We've even got a 4-litre washer bottle. And to further maximise the driver's vision, Rodeo features A-pillar channels to direct the water over the roof and away from the door glass, giving even better vision in these whopping external mirrors. They're the largest in class. Diesel models, they feature under-bonnet sound dampening as well as sound dampening on the engine side and the cabin side of the firewall. You won't find sound dampening on the engine side of Hilux's firewall. Look at the thickness and the quality of the floor covering. Even these trim panels feature sound dampening. And how about this? The backing for these trim panels is moulded plastic. Compare that to Hilux's pressed cardboard. Which one do you think will last longer, given the treatment meted out to most light commercials? Remember, The better a vehicle looks both inside and outside will help to determine its resale value, and that has a direct impact upon cost of ownership. Look at the size of these door handles. Blokes with big buffy hands can get a grip on these, even if their hands are wet or muddy. Inside all of Rodeo's doors are huge side intrusion beams to maximise the protection of the occupants in the event of an accident. And now, keyless entry is a feature on all LX and LT models. Remember to tell your customers that the door lock mechanism on the RA Rodeo is actuated via a cable, which makes breaking into the vehicle by shoving something down between the door and the glass next to impossible. Hilux, on the other hand, still uses solid rods, which can be easily manipulated by a thief. The doors on the crew cab now open a whacking 68 degrees, making entry and exit far easier than ever before. And while we're in the back, how about 3 lap sash seat belts? Occupational health and safety, 2 right. And if you're carrying very young apprentices, there's also 3, yes 3, child restraint anchor points back here as well. The space cab now features 2 folding jump seats, each equipped with lap sash seat belts. But the real deal is that under these jump seats, there are really neat storage containers that also fold forward to provide a flat floor storage area. The jack and the tools are stowed under here. Single cab, space cab or crew cab, free-flowing ventilation is important. Look at the size of this flow-through ventilation exhaust vent. Now compare that to Hilux's. Which do you think will circulate more air? This rear window is bonded. It provides greater strength to the cabin. It increases the torsional rigidity and provides more security. RA Rodeo features a high-level brake light that really is high level. Up here it can be seen, especially during daylight. This is the business end of Rodeo. This is where Rodeo pays its way. At 49 centimetres, it's deeper than Hilux, which is 40 centimetres. And Rodeo's wider at the wheel arch too, being 108 centimetres versus Hilux's 104. Even our tailgate opening is wider at 136 centimetres versus their 134. Our tailgate features flat metal bars to support it when opened versus Hilux's cable. This system provides solid support and is definitely a lot easier to close than the cable system. The pickup tub is made from galvanised steel. Inner and outer panels, floor and tailgate are all galvanised for longevity. For further protection of the tub, Rodeo features full rear wheel arch liners. Hilux only offers partial liners, with the side of the tub fully exposed to the abrasion from sand or rocks. And how about this? To lower Rodeo's spare wheel, you stand over here in a safe area and insert the rod via this funnel, which ensures a positive engagement every time, even in the dark. That's both safety and ease of operation. All right, I've shown you a lot of class-leading features that your customer can easily see relating to how much the RA Rodeo will carry and how easily it will carry it. Now let me show you why the RA Rodeo will not only carry the load, but why we believe it will do so for a lot longer than the competition. This is literally the backbone of the Rodeo. All the weight, all the loads that go into the body have to get supported by this. If the chassis is not up to the job, the vehicle will not last the distance. This rear cross member is designed to increase the torsional rigidity of the chassis. It also spreads more evenly the forces placed upon the rear of the chassis by the weight of the load. You won't find this on Hilux. All cab chassis model Rodeos now feature the long wheelbase chassis. The wheelbase for all cab chassis models is 3,200 millimetres compared to 3,050 millimetres for the pickup variants. Both of these figures are an increase over the TF Rodeo. Refer to your sales consultant's kit for more information on body lengths on pickups and cab chassis variants. Rodeo cab chassis models are equipped with 10 body mounting points. The rear axle features a limited slip differential on all 4x4 models and also on the LX and LT 4x2 models. Have a look at the way Rodeo attaches the rear springs to the rear axle. See this spreader plate? It prevents the U-bolts from damaging the axle tube and helps to locate them. The Hilux just clamps straight onto the axle tube. Rodeo features 4 taper leaf springs with 3 helper springs versus Hilux 3 spring and 2 helper spring setup. This means that Rodeo provides better ride and handling when lightly loaded as well as when fully loaded to GVMR. Rodeo's springs are shot peened to relieve stress and are coated with a zinc-based paint. This ensures longevity, therefore lowering the cost of ownership. Each of Rodeo's chassis legs consists of 3 sections, each with different wall thickness. This increases the strength of the chassis without increasing the weight. Look at the height and the width of these chassis rails, then compare them to Hilux. Rodeo's chassis is wider than Hilux, and that means Rodeo's chassis outriggers, that's these guys here that attach the cabin to the chassis, well, they can be shorter in length. That means there's less stress placed upon them, and that means they can do their job for longer. And have a look at these. These are the mountings that are used to attach the cabin to the chassis. This is what Rodeo uses to isolate the cabin from noise, vibration and harshness. This ensures that both the occupants and the cabin don't get shaken to bits. This, on the other hand, is what Hilux uses. Which do you think will do the better job? And look at the number, the position and the strength of these cross members. All of this ensures Rodeo's superior handling because it provides a very stable platform. The RA Rodeo chassis, when compared to TF Rodeo, has an increased resistance to bending of 60% longitudinally and 50% laterally, ensuring a long vehicle life. Now these guys carry all the loads produced by the engine. That's not just the weight of the engine, but also the twisting motion produced when taking off or accelerating. They also isolate the engine's noise, vibration and harshness from being transferred into the cabin. Now look at these from the Hilux. Which ones do you think will do the better job and last longer? All models are now equipped with rack and pinion steering. This system provides the driver with more vehicle control, with positive road feel, and that means safety. Hilux uses a steering box. This system provides far less road feel. It's vague and it takes far more effort to turn. And on Hilux, it's very prone to damage in minor incidents due to where it's mounted. While Rodeo's rack and pinion has just 2 moving joints, the tie rod joints at its ends, Hilux's steering box has 5. That's more provision for wear. And it takes just a little bit of wear in each of these joints when added together to make this steering system even vaguer. Rodeo feels more car-like to drive. On the DX 2.4 petrol 4x2 and the LX 3 litre diesel 4x2 models, you'll find coil spring independent front suspension. This system provides an even more car-like ride and handling package. All other Rodeo models continue to feature torsion bar independent front suspension. This system allows for a higher ride height, suitable for those customers that may find the need, even in a 2-wheel drive Rodeo, to go onto the rough. It also has provision for additional height adjustments to compensate for the fitting of steel bull bars. And Rodeo's track is wider than the Hilux. The wider the track, the more stable the handling, and that becomes even more important as you increase the weight of the load. While we're looking at the chassis, let's think about safety. Rodeo's chassis has a crash energy absorbing design feature. Here at the front of the chassis is designed to absorb major frontal impacts, thereby transmitting less crash energy to the occupants. What about these front discs? They're equipped with twin piston calipers for increased stopping power. The RA Rodeo's brake pad is now 26% larger than the previous model. Even the brake disc is bigger by some 9%. Bigger discs with bigger brake pads means a larger swept area or brake pad contact area, which makes for better braking. Hilux uses a single piston caliper which operates a much smaller brake pad. And to make it even easier to use, the brakes are power assisted via a tandem brake booster, providing twice the level of assistance so you don't need big buffy legs to stop a fully laden Rodeo. Just a gentle pressure on the brake pedal will bring this workhorse to a stop. And while we're on the brakes, so to speak, remember that LT models feature a 4-sensor, 3-channel anti-lock braking system. Now, if that's not good enough, how about electronic brake force distribution, sometimes called EBD? Electronic brake force distribution controls the amount of rear braking effort based upon the weight of the vehicle. Now, unlike ABS, EBD helps to prevent the brakes from locking up in the first place. To your customer, it's safety through increased control. See this panel? On the old Rodeo, it was 4 pieces, but now it's just one single piece, lessening the opportunity for corrosion to start. And like the outer and inner guards, outer and inner door panels, front and rear bulkheads, floor panels, it's also made from galvanised steel. And the body and chassis cavities are wax injected, meaning a longer vehicle life, which saves your customer money. On Rodeo, this is polypropylene with a bloody great beam behind it, which connects it to the front chassis cross member. Polypropylene has a memory, so that if you hit something, say up to about 8 Ks, it will spring back into shape. Hilux uses a thin pressed steel upper section cobbled to a plastic lower section. This pressed steel also has a memory. In fact, it has a very good memory. You hit something with your Hilux, every time you look at the front bumper, it will remind you that you did because the dent will still be there. And the Hilux attaches to the body, not to the chassis. These headlights are very big and they make a very bold statement. But better still is that they are polycarbonate, and that means they are virtually unbreakable. Well, by now you should be sitting there thinking that this is a monster of a truck. And you'd be right. But sitting there thinking about it won't help unless you're going to buy one. Get up and go out and tell somebody about the all-new Rodeo, because you now know and have seen things about the Rodeo that most light commercial buyers would never know, but need to know before they make their buying decision. I'd like to take a moment to talk about the importance of payload calculation. How much will it carry is one of the most important questions, yet regrettably, it's the most misunderstood. Commercial vehicle terminology. You need to understand this stuff if you're going to help people buy Rodeos. First is GVMR, or Gross Vehicle Mass Rating. This is the all-up weight of the vehicle, including passengers, body and payload. It's the maximum weight that the vehicle is allowed to weigh. It's determined by tyres, wheels, brakes, springs, axles and chassis ratings, and it's set by the manufacturer. The next is GCMR, or Gross Combined Mass Rating. This is the total combined weight of a loaded vehicle plus a loaded trailer. It's the maximum weight that the vehicle and loaded trailer can weigh. It's determined by the same things as GVMR. That's tyres, wheels, brakes, springs, axles and chassis ratings, plus tow bar rate, and especially if the trailer is equipped with or without brakes. You also need to understand curb mass, sometimes called unladen mass. This is the weight of the vehicle as delivered from the manufacturer, unoccupied and unladen. Curb mass also includes the weight of a full tank of fuel. You'll find these figures in the Rodeo brochure. But why is it important that you understand curb mass and GVMR? Because these two figures form part of the equation that determines the carrying capacity of a light commercial vehicle. How much you can carry on a light commercial vehicle isn't determined by how much you can chuck on before stuff starts to fall off. It's determined by subtracting from the gross vehicle mass rating, that's the maximum weight the vehicle is allowed to weigh, subtracting from that the curb mass. What's left is how much the vehicle can carry or carrying capacity. But carrying capacity isn't the same as payload. Now, if we're helping our customer to buy a Rodeo pickup, working out the payload is a pretty simple process for two good reasons. One, the weight of the pickup body is already included in the curb mass figure, as printed in the brochure. And two, the brochure states the payload for pickups. But if you're helping your customer buy a Rodeo with a tray body, it's a bit trickier, because now you have to understand the difference between carrying capacity and payload. When it comes to a tray body vehicle, the weight of the tray body has to be deducted from the carrying capacity to determine what is the payload. And don't forget that the weight of any accessories that are added to the vehicle will reduce the payload. Confused? Don't be. Look, it's simple. Just one more thing. The maximum tow capacity of the Rodeo is 2 tonne with a brake trailer. Correctly loaded, that would exert a tow ball loading of 200 kilograms, which is the maximum allowable on the Rodeo. But if you were to put a fully loaded trailer behind a fully loaded Rodeo, you would in fact exceed the gross combined mass rating and therefore be illegal. You would have to take something out of either the trailer or the Rodeo. All this information is in the owner's handbook, which for salespersons is essential reading. However, these two publications will really make you look and sound like an expert. First are the Rodeo weight and trailer calculation sheets. These are available from Holden. They're designed to help you ask your customer the right questions to ensure that you are not helping them buy the wrong vehicle. Use it. If you haven't got one, get one and use it. As a bonus, it has the definitions of gross vehicle mass rating, gross combined mass rating, curb mass, carry capacity and payload on the inside front cover, along with Rodeo accessory weights, typical body weights and the weight of commonly loaded commodities. The second book is the Rodeo Bodybuilder's Guide. Every dealership has been issued with this indispensable book. Do yourself a favour, go and find it. If you can't find it, take the necessary steps to obtain one from Holden, then read it. And you'll know more about helping people to buy a light commercial vehicle than most other salespeople. So now you've got a lot to talk about when they ask you, how much will it carry? Thanks for watching.